everybody doing today? I am Coach Lee Hill, and I think Don will be joining us very shortly. Today we were on the phone for about 2-3 hours. Like, what are we talking about today? And I love the fact that we have structure, but I like the fact that people, like, when we're coming up with what we want to talk about, it's very authentic. You know what I mean? And so that's something that I appreciate with my co-host, Coach Don. I was about to say Don Hill, guys, but Coach Don Ferguson. So today we said we're going to do shop talk because it was so many different topics that we wanted to talk about. But one of the topics I wanted to talk about, y'all already know, is last week I went on. I'm waiting for Dawn to come on, but last week I went on and I did all last week. We talked about ingredients, and the reason why I was saying we need to focus on ingredients in our products is because one of the things that I noticed when it came to my clients, when it comes to the coaching, a lot of them had products that was not good for their hair. And I got a little frustrated with it because I'm like, why do they have these, like, products? And then I have to remember and think back to the fact that, hey, Lee, you know what I mean? You taught on the fact of our foundation was based on other races of hair, and we didn't have products for ourselves, right? So I did this whole that all last week. I did it on, um, you know, paying attention to the products that you're implementing in your hair, because that doesn't necessarily mean that product is for our hair. You know what I mean? It's just something that was created, and because it's been there for so long, like when you think about the Paul Mitchells, and we think about let me see, I'm sorry, y'all. Welcome to the chat. Okay, good. When we think about the Paul Mitchells, or when we think about the not Peter Coppola, but Kira Care, not Kira, but Kira. What is it called? Come on, BioSilk, or I'm trying to think of the brands, Matrix. All these different brands, because it's been with us since we were born, since we were kids. It's been out there. A lot of us are using the products that are not good for our hair. All right, that's number one. However, number two is the fact of as I'm sitting here and I'm having these consultations and I'm explaining these things to my clients. One of the things one of my good friends sent me this. What did he send me? He sent me this thing on George Johnson, the Johnson factory, the Johnson products, and I'm like, what a coincidence that I'm like doing research on this stuff and trying to understand, like, where is the connect. I know it's a disconnection because we came out of slavery. They, all we had was like these products like Maybelline, and we had Revlon. And for some reason, I don't know if I'm the only one, but for some reason I was like, I don't know why I thought Revlon was a black hair thing or whatever, a hair line or whatnot. But I'm like, oh, they made products like us. So he actually sent me this video, and it was talking about how George Johnson. Hold on, let me see if that's Dawn. I don't know what she's. Dawn, you need to come on. Dawn is not on. I don't know what she's doing. Hold on, y'all. So, Dawn, you need to log in. I sent you the link. So anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, let's, when I did the history of it, Johnson products, which is Afro Sheen and Ultra Sheen. Y'all remember Ultra Sheen? It was like the little blue bottle with the white top on. I'm like, oh my gosh, I never knew the history behind it. But anyway, they took a loan. They went to the bank. George Johnson, who became a chemist for this company. George Johnson was born like 1927. But anyway, I'm going to try to wrap it up in a quick way or whatnot. And that is the fact that he basically started the Maybelline and Revlon were big. Maybelline, I believe they were from 1915, and Revlon, there she go. I'm like, Don, what is you doing? And then Revlon was started in, I think, 1927, right? Hey, I'm like, what is you doing, girl? I'm like, what is you doing? I said,
I was
Don, you
so
need to log
confused.
on.
I'm
I
like,
have no idea what you're
where's
talking
the
about.
link? I was
Huh?
looking. You look fabulous as
Honey,
always.
let me see what you got on today, honey. Yes, yes. Bring it out, bring it out.
I was,
Child, yes, ma'am. Yes,
how are
ma'am.
you?
So anyway, I was giving them a quick thing of the George Johnson. I was talking about that earlier with you. So the point that I'm making with it is that Maybelline and Revlon have been out for literally since 1915 and since 1927. All right, or 1932. So don't what you call it. Don't hold me to it. But the thing that I realized that they were saying that none of these companies, it was 10 million African Americans, none of the companies saw fit to make any products geared towards us until George Johnson and his wife came up on the scene. They were the first black company, not just in beauty. That's how powerful the beauty world is. But they were the first black company to be on the stock market. What's the Amex? Or they were the first ones. So you think about the history of that, and then they just took off, and then they sponsored Soul Train. They pushed the natural movement. So the natural movement, it did just happen a few 10, 20 years ago. The natural movement was like pushed by this company, which skyrocketed their business, right? So when we think about that, and guess what happened? He started doing the relaxers. He started doing all these different products, and him and his wife, they were 80% of the black population were buying their products. So guess what? Revlon said, "Hey, that's what the companies do. We're gonna buy them out. We're gonna start making our own products." And then they start giving them issues with as far as them making the relaxers. They had stipulations on them, but Revlon could do whatever they wanted to. They didn't have the stipulations that we have. But anyway, he powered through. That company is still here today. Both of them passed away. I think George Johnson passed away yesterday in 2024, and his wife in 2000. I think her name was Joan in 2019. But I wanted you to understand the history. No one was ever even considering us when it comes to our hair. And Dawn and I was having this conversation. And I was telling her how we have, as black people, we have to create our standards as black women and black men as well. We have to create our beauty standards because for so many years from babies, from when our mothers were babies and our grandmothers were babies, their foundation or their standard of beauty was blonde hair and blue eyes. And we couldn't have that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then when that movement came with Soul Train and all, the Black Power, they were proud of their afros, right? So we now in 2025, we have to get to a place where we honor our ancestors. We honor the people that could not be able to wear the hairstyles that we wear, to do the colors, to do the cuts, all these different things. As a cosmetologist, I wear that title very proud because when you look at our history of how far we come from as black women, as black men, I think it's an honor to be able to call myself a cosmetologist. Don, you understand it as well. The power that we hold in that, because in cosmetology is not just doing hair. They're chemists, they're trichologists, they are teachers, they are platform artistry. It's like so many avenues that you can go in the beauty world when it comes to having that license. And so I just wanted to kind of give you guys the history on that. Oh, Keisha's world. Hey, Keisha. Oh, Lord.
Hey,
Hey,
Keisha.
y'all so extra. I love. Yes. No one ever considers our community unless it's money to be made. Yeah. When the money started coming in, guess what? The people started, because the people pay attention. And that's what it comes down to. They never made a product for us. But, I was having this discussion, and Don, you can chime in. You said something that you wanted to do, so you can chime in. I just wanted to say that I had a discussion with one of my coaching clients today, and um, I was telling her how I remember being, and when I worked in Oviedo, I had my own salon, and I in Oviedo, Florida, up in Orlando, it's a lot of interracial relationships there. And then you had couples, a lot of couples that adopted Black children, and the girls, they didn't know how to do their hair. Even the interracial couples, they didn't know how to do their hair. So they used a lot of the products that they use on their hair on the kids' hair. And I remember this one little girl, she used to come to my daughter's school. I would drop my daughter off, and her hair was all matted. And the lady was like, I talked to the adopted mother, and she said, "Oh, I don't know what to do. I just wash him and just pat it down, you know." And I said, "Please, just let me do it." And she was like, "I don't have so much money." I said, "I'll do it at a discount rate. Just let me do it," because she was going to school. She already was special needs, and thank God the school didn't play them picking on them. But I just wanted her to feel beautiful. This little girl going to school and never having her hair kept up. And so even then, I never even paid attention to the fact that why her hair was matted up. It was the products that they had so much alcohol in it. It's not catered to our hair. So her hair was just washed, it would just dry and be brittle because of that fact. So I just wanted to bring that out about the ingredients before Dawn came on the scene. Today we are doing shop talk. So we're about to get into it. It's so good to see y'all this evening. I know, Keisha, I feel the same way. I don't know if something changed. I don't know if it's Don with his hair and his outfit is doing it today, honey. She made me honey. Yes. Oh my gosh. Don,
My
what we
robe.
doing today? Honey. What we got going on today, Missy Pooh?
Child, it's the robe.
It's the robe.
It's the robe.
Child, that is screaming some royalty going on right now. The hair, you got the mane up,
Thank you
you got
very
that
much.
Leo thing going up, you got the mane all going together.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you. I was like, you got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What was
I
you
told you I had
talking
the
about? I was
grandbaby.
like, what is done? What is I said,
Yeah,
what
I
that
had the
girl got going
grandbaby,
on?
and all I saw were the pictures that you sent. So I was like, yes, but I didn't see the stream. I mean, to connect.
Oh,
So
because
I had to go I was like, oh my God, I'm waiting. I'm like, I don't see nothing. I don't
that's
see
what I was like, what?
anything.
I
Yes,
should have waited to
girl.
send them pictures.
And my first outfit, I was like, oh no. It was just a bit too revealing. So I had to grab a robe.
You had to grab a robe, but you still doing it, honey. It's
Boy,
always when you
thank
ain't
you.
trying to do nothing. Okay,
Yeah.
Keisha
So
say, were you able to properly educate the adopted mother so she cared for? No, ma'am. That lady didn't want to touch that. That you find a lot of that, Keisha. She did not want to touch the little girl's hair. So the little girl had to come to me weekly. Every week or a week and a half, she would come to me. I would either braid it up so she'd wear it for a week and a half and wash it and then grow it out. And then eventually you didn't see the couple no more. So they was like really, really like, I'm like, why would you adopt a child? I mean, she was just really unkept, period.
hmm
But it's only so much you can do, to try to help. But no, Keisha, she did not keep it up. A lot of them, not everyone, but I know. I mean, it's Black women too that they can't do their kids' hair, so they send them to. That's why their kids' hair is always braided up, and they be little kids. They never see their own hair and get to enjoy their own hair because a lot of women just don't want to be bothered with it, and they have so much on their plate that's why they keep it braided up. So it's like it's a catch-22. You can't judge them because you understand, but at the same time, we got to figure something out to change the narrative. My client today, we were talking and she was like, I did this 4-week session, so I got to change the coaching style, right? I got to customize it to my clients, and I'm realizing that. And so this was the last session. She was like, no, I'm going to do more. And she said to me that she was just starting to discover her hair. She realized that things that she diagnosed her hair with, like she thought she had dandruff. And then when I had her to switch the products and gave her a regimen, she was like, I don't have flakes. She was like, I went and brought a whole thing for the dandruff, and I didn't have dandruff. It wasn't a dandruff, it was the product that she was using.
Right.
And I was like,
Absolutely.
it's just tweaking some things. So I said to her, our hair is not um our hair is not difficult. If you have to change the mindset, our hair is not difficult. Our hair is not a project where let me go and do this. When I hate to see or hear women respond that way, because when I look on social media, I see women like, oh, let me show y'all about this new wig. Oh, it's a glueless wig and this and that. I'm like, you don't even do that about your own hair. You don't even take the time to talk about your own. There's no way you're gonna go on social media and tell people how you sat at home and you did a self-love treatment to your hair and show them the product. We're not doing that. But
I think we're it's we're traumatized when it comes to our hair. You know,
explain.
we're traumatized, and from the images that we have to that have been us, the ridicule, the shame, the need to make it wavy or straight to fit in. You
Mm,
know, the that we know the power of the afro. The afro was very empowering, right?
right.
So in order to diminish that, or um make others feel in superior, you
Mm-hmm.
had to cut your hair. You know, our
Mm,
hair has always been an issue. The models have to cut their hair for the runway, the mainstream models, because
right.
they don't have the people to to do our hair, or that's qualified, or that are are interested. They're not interested on. We were never an interesting factor until it's time to make some money. So now that the beauty industry, because I was one of the first um, self-made millionaires, was Madam C.J. Walker,
That's
right?
right. That's
And
right.
her granddaughter just relaunched a product line in honor of her. I don't know what the
Mm,
product is, but I just saw that. I think the last a couple days ago.
mm-hmm.
But um, only now begin to understand and have enough research to support our curly hair,
Mm-hmm.
right? The
Right.
more curlier the hair, or coilier, right? The hair is
Uh-huh.
finer. So that
Right.
requires moisture. Moisture is a product that has to be layered. It has to be built in the hair. It's not something that's instant. And we're instant babies. We're microwave babies.
Mm-hmm.
We're used to, I want it today. I think of this
Right.
hairstyle. I go online, I search it, I hit it in the box, and I have the hairstyle tomorrow.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So with curly hair, or our natural texture of hair, we can't just do that.
Mm,
Right?
right.
It is our own individuality, our own individual personal identity. It's ours.
Mm-hmm.
My texture is different from your texture, is different from Keisha's textures. Each and every single human being texture is different.
That's
But we
right.
have yet to embrace that. We're so used to looking at others and people being in awe of even the light skin, straight hair, wavy hair girl, as opposed to the dark skin, afro, full lip girl.
Mm-hmm.
They take different parts of her. Look at
Mm-hmm.
what's the young lady in Love and Hip Hop? Like it's like they just dragged her character through the mud.
Ooh,
It's like I thought she was Spanish. Amara, I think is her name.
the
Amara from
dark
Love and Hip Hop.
the
The
black
Spanish
Cuban girl.
girl. The black Spanish girl.
Yeah, she from Cuba. Uh-huh. She's
From Love and
beautiful.
Hip Hop. Miami. Yeah. But
Right.
it was just so interesting how the characters take play in the images and stuff, and how we see ourselves, and how, and I love when Beyonce cut all her hair off for the
Mm,
people. you know
yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it was AI or if it was real or whatever, but I she had a bit her traditional classic curly hair in.
Mm-hmm. So
So, but
today, Don and I are doing like shop talk, guys. So we just like bouncing today. You know, ain't no
mhm.
what you call, because we was talking about, we were like, so you want to talk about that? You want to talk about this? You know, I'm gonna give y'all something that the state, the mindset of our women today. I was telling Don this story. Hold on. Keisha said, you okay, we did that. We have to heal from colonial mindset. Yep, that's true, Keisha.
Yes.
Keisha said a lot of Black people don't think we're beautiful. Yes, that's true. That's in our community. You know,
Mhm.
it's in our it's everywhere too. You know, that's the thing too. You think it's just social media. You think it's just the schools. It's in our churches, it's in at the workplace, it's everywhere where
Yeah.
a lot of young Black girls, it's interesting. I was saying where I work at, and I see some of the women, I'm like, dang, she's beautiful, but they don't care nothing about dressing up or nothing like that, because you got to sit in this office, you got to do all this stuff or whatever. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, um a lot of them, when they come in my, I'm talking to some of the women, they'll compliment me on my stuff as if I'm the only person that can do that and not them. And that is mind boggling to me, because I'm like, oh, they don't think that they're attractive, or life them beat them down, or whoever was in their life, you know what I'm saying? Things like that, or just some of us, a lot of us live in our traumas. So
Yeah.
we stay constantly replaying trauma. So we feel like we're stuck in this prison. And a lot of time, and it's a mental thing. And what happens is, before you know it, you look up and you're in your 40s, you're in your 50s, you're in your 70s, and you're still rehearsing something that happened in 1989 that happened to you. The person has gone on, or whatever, the situation is moved on, and we're stuck in that. So we don't really live. You know, it is something when they say, and that's something for me, Don, I'm very big on. I remember going to someone's funeral, and we were leaving the funeral, and somebody in the car said, it's a lot of people it's a lot of dreams in them graves over there. So a lot of people had dreams. A lot of us, a lot of people that are in those graves don't live out their purpose. They
Right.
don't try to figure out what their purpose is. Our purpose is not here to just do hair, to walk around with makeup on, to get what booty shots or whatever. I don't know, whatever. That's not our purpose in life, especially as women. We have so much that we need to. We got a big job out here. If you look at the internet and you look at this world that we got going on now, it is the Black women. We're so sexualized and so caught up. You go to Instagram, someone butt cheeks out, all kind of things are happening. We have a big job to do, because we're not living out our true purpose. I'm telling you, it's a lot of us. So yes, a lot of women don't think that they are beautiful, and a lot of men don't think that they're attractive. It's not just the women; it's the men too. Okay, we make fun of one another because of skin tone, hair texture. We have to start treating each other better. But you have people hate themselves, and it's hard to like others, and you don't like yourself. Yeah, I think that I have a good friend that says they don't really hate you. It's really they envy you. They actually they admire you, not they envy you. He said they admire you because they want to do what you do, but they don't have the guts to do it. So you just got to keep being the example till they get their head right. And that's kind of like how I look at things. I don't look
You
at
gotta
people
keep
and say, oh,
showing up.
yeah. What happened?
You gotta keep showing up.
Yeah, you got to keep showing up. And to be honest, I don't, Don, you and I talk about this. I don't dress for people. I don't want to dress like people. I don't want to look like everybody. I like looking like Lethra, right? That's all I like. I like me. And so I'm going to show up as me. Now you can show up however which way you want, but I'm going to keep being that example for you, because I know that there are women out there that have been through the same things that I have been through, but I was able to push through that and still live an authentic life. It's a lot of times we don't understand the issues that we have, or the things that happen to us, is for us to be your authentic self, to heal, and to be able to be an example. And when you see your other sisters, you reach back, you pull them up, and you help them. So sometimes you just got to be the example for them. You understand what I'm saying? And you got to keep at it, no matter. Don't look to the left. I don't look to the right. I don't really care. I think once you get to your 50s, you don't really care what people think and say. You be like, child, please. I got this certain amount of time. I got to think like, who, what? You know what I mean? You have to get into that place where you think that way, and you're happy with that. So that was that. Now, I was telling Don about, I was watching, y'all know I like my TikTok. I was like, go to bed, Lethra, go to bed. I was watching my TikTok, and this man came home, right? And he was like, baby, did you pay the rent or the mortgage? And she said, nah, I had to get a wig. I said, wait a minute. Because I was like, why this thing got so many likes, and it had over, it was almost at 500K comments. And she said it like, yeah, y'all, like it wasn't like, no, I told you I need a wig. He said, wait, what you mean? You didn't pay the bill? You didn't pay the mortgage or the rent? I think it was 1,300. It was 1,300, so it was the rent. She said, I told you, this is how she told, I told you last week. I needed last month that I needed a new wig. And the man, you could tell that he was hurt, but he's a man's man. So he was talking to her, and he didn't want to get really out of pocket, but he was upset. And she said, she said, you figure it out. She said, you figure it out. You get money. He said, but that ain't the point. I gave you the money for that. And I said, this is what I mean. We got a lot of work, ladies. Cosmetologists, we got a lot of work. Because when you're at a place where, and this is a lot of women think like that, it's not just her, where you gonna take $1,300 to put on a lace wig, that mean she was wearing the other wig for what, a month, Dawn? Or a couple of months, and then she said, I need a new wig. So she took $1,300 instead of placing it to make sure they have a roof over their head. Her priorities were, I need a lace wig so I can go out and stun on people who I don't even like and who don't even care. Them people not even thinking about you in your lace wig. But for us, we gotta be amongst the others and do the same thing. And so I wanted to talk about that, chat. I was like, in today's news, back at the ranch. I was like, and listen, she wasn't even young. I was like, well, dang, you could tell. I said, she not even in her 30s. I said, you can't make this stuff up. So a lot of times we'll see people, we be like, oh, she in her 50s, she in her 60s. Y'all know it's a lot of people that are old that have no wisdom. They just got gray hair. They're getting older, but there's no wisdom. That was that situation. I said, Lord, she got kids. Please tell me she don't have kids. They didn't go into all that. But I was like, dang, the kids, they don't have a chance in this world with the mama. You know what I mean? Don, what you got to say on that? You gonna say don't
Ourselves.
let your baby daddy?
Our self-esteem is tied into how low can you go, you know. um it's how we see ourselves, it's how other people see us. um Self-love is vital to to the overall well-being. you know it's hard for us to love ourselves. I don't know why. It seems to be challenging for us to see other people loving us, right?
Right, right.
um I think it's just in a state of pain. Some people are just in a state of pain. The holidays are here. People, they're like, oh my goodness, I don't want to go home. I don't feel like being bothered with my family. A lot of people are having a lot of anxiety about the holidays because it's a lot of trauma
Mm-hmm.
that's there.
Right,
Some may be successful, some may not be. They have to go back and they have to see the family in a state of despair. It's only but so much that they can bring to the table. They can't bring the family to where they are. You know what I
right.
mean? Because they're not necessarily ready. So I think some of us, a lot of us, are just in a state. And a lot of times we find our healing in the arms or in the chairs of our
Mm.
barbers, of our hairstylists, of our estheticians, of the people that do our nails, right? Because it's like
Right.
it's a cheap service. Like I can get instant, I can get an instant
Gratification.
connection,
Mm-hmm.
right? I can get an instant connection. And based on how the beauty provider is is doing the service depends on how well the service gets through, right? Or
Mm.
how you get the person through, because the person might be grieving and
Right.
she may just need you to listen. She don't need you tugging all on her hair.
Right.
She came to you for a release. So, she didn't come in, all these people waiting and skipping her and this, that, and the next. She's already in a state of disarray.
Right.
'cause when you go and get a beauty service, it's supposed to be relaxing. It's supposed
Right.
to be a release. It's a stress release, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to you going for a release. So you don't need to be in a place where you can't release, if
Right.
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times the provider is in such a bad state they can't provide you healing at that
Mm-hmm.
particular time, so you end up in this chaotic state that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna call the police because I paid for my hair to reach, I paid for this length. It's not down to my butt is down here past my thighs, you know what I'm
I'm
saying?
not doing
It's
this
not,
with you today,
you know
Don.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying, right? So it's a good thing that they prepaid, right? Because she would have not want to pay because she was there arguing with the lady. It may have been a skit. It may not have been. The customer said she was going to call the police or whatever. But you just say to yourself, you sat there all that time.
That lady ain't have no butt. I was like, when she stood up, she didn't want to stand up. I said, well, when she finally got up, I said, well, that lady went past what was there. I'm like, you need to cut that out. She
Right,
told me she calling the police. That lady was like, honey, call the police because
right.
you look a hot
So,
mess.
it's clear that she's operating in a different state of mind,
Mm-hmm.
right? To even be something, and I'm sure if anyone would ask her what was going on, it was something else going on with the
Yeah,
young
yeah,
lady,
yeah. Clearly.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So we use those little like I said, we're the scapegoats.
Uh-huh.
Everything is
Uh-huh.
like dropped on our lap. We have to soothe the community. That's how you hear all the gossip in the community, at the hairstylist, at the barbershop. That's the community newspaper.
Right, right. Let me see what they got to say. Then I'm gonna segue since you're talking
Uh,
about that, about the salon stuff that we deal with. Hold on. Okay, so Keisha say I was in a classroom the other day, and it wasn't but one black girl in a classroom full of kids that didn't have on a wig and eyelashes. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. All the girls had wigs and lashes. What grade was that? Oh my
yeah.
God. The Chinese girls and Hispanic girls, the Asian girls didn't have on wigs and lashes. Wow. Keisha, uh, hold on. Hold on, y'all. Let me get, I don't know who this, hold on. I gotta delete somebody. Hold on. All right. She was, hold on. He said she would have been out in the street making that money back with that new wig. She would have been the lady of the night. Oh my God. Don hit the nail on the head. Grade 10 through 12. Man, 10 through 12th grade. But a lot of times it be these mamas that be living through their kids too now, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all that. And let me tell you something. Um, I told you this shop talk, so we just kind of like talking about everything or whatever. But it be the same. It don't be the same kind of drama when you in the other salons. And I was telling John, I said, come think about it. A lot of salons and hair schools. We have a lot of. It's still segregated in a lot of ways. Um, I wanted to talk about that too. I was like, a lot of the schools and a lot is segregated. I was blessed that I had somebody in my life at the time that was like, you got to go to this school. You can't go to this school. And it's not to say that I, because Don went to what you went to Miami Lakes, right?
Yeah,
You
but
went to
I
Miami
also
Lakes.
I also went to Dudley.
Oh, see, you went to the, you know what I mean? You went to
Mm-hmm.
Dudley as well, which is, especially at that time, you was,
Mm-hmm.
on your stuff. But I used to think, and I need you to correct me with it because I went to a more diverse. I was the only black girl. It was a couple of black Hispanic girls, but I was the only black American girl in the school. And I just class from LaBelle Beauty Academy. It was all Hispanic, and a lot of them was just going because they wanted to get their food stamps. So they was like, I'm going to school for hair. You know how that goes. And I remember, I always tell that story about how they taught on relaxers for 20 to 30 minutes, and the whole time they were talking about how bad our hair was. But I
Mm.
realized that we were segregated when I got into more of the platform artistry, when I'm starting to travel and educate and stuff like that. I realized that I was like, dang, it's still segregation. It is still a separate thing. I see more black girls now going to like the Paul Mitchell school and things like that, but it's still a separation. They still hire you if you're a black girl. They only hire you because they don't want to touch black women hair. A lot of them don't want to touch it. Now you may have some that you appreciate, and like, I don't know why they don't want to touch the hair. Is you know, but it's because they're afraid of it because the stigma that's put on our hair. So it becomes segregated, not intentionally, I think now, especially in the Hispanic world, in the Hispanic ones, but it is a segregation there. You know what I mean? So the reason why I'm bringing this up, I hate it because when I look now and I'm looking at cosmetologist versus hairstylist, right? Because you can call me a hairstylist. I don't mind because I know who I am or what I've done to get, what I've done in my career, right? But I'm looking at like the difference. They don't respect like the stuff that we talk about, that we complain about like the hairstylist putting these wigs. If you wait, let me say this real quick. If you have a hairstylist that all she know how to do is wigs and weaves, you in trouble. I'm just gonna say that right off the bat. If you have a hairstylist and you go to her 90% of the time, if you go to her 50% of the time, that's all she has to offer you, you're gonna be in trouble with your hair. You are going to be in trouble. And I'm telling you that, you know, but the problem is the reason why I'm bringing that up is like, because of that, a lot of us struggle in the educational part, Don. Maybe we wouldn't be so intimidated with going to school and getting our license as a cosmetologist and elevating our lifestyle and our careers if we had that all around education. Does that make sense? It's a buzz going on. Is that me?
Um, I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It stopped
Oh,
now.
okay. What was the question?
About the segregation. Do you see segregation still in the salons and in the schools? Like, you know what I mean? Because I know you kind of be in that world a lot more. I mean, I went to my old school because they were like hiring and stuff like that, and I still saw nothing but Hispanic. I did not see black girls there. So I was like, dang, it's still like that, you know? It's a
Um,
segregation, but what I don't like about it is because, and it doesn't make sense, but I understand it. You got Peter Coppola and Paul Mitchell who created, not created, but said, let's have unisex salons where you can have men come in there, you can have women come in there. But for some reason, we don't have that when it comes to the salons. If you're going to go to a high end salon, and I know we have high end black salons, but I don't really see it. It's normally either white, Hispanic. It's either all white, it's either all Hispanic, or it's either black. Am I wrong? Correct me if I'm wrong.
It depends on the area. See, in
Mm,
Atlanta, you have different levels, right?
right,
Now you have the salon suites that have taken over, so you really don't necessarily have the salons per se anymore. So the culture of the salon is not really there. You have more of the salon suites. So the
mm,
industry has taken a shift. Everybody is really on their own individual path. Like, I'm an artist, you're an artist. It allows you to flow within your own stream, your own
hmm,
little pod, kind of, is
right,
what the salon suites offer the new generation. I find that it hinders them in terms of their skill level because it's just them, right?
right,
Whereas in the salon, you had other talents that you can feed off of. So you were growing because you were watching so and so over here do a
right,
weave. You were also getting a class in barbering because the dude that was barbering was over here, cutting and fading. And if when
right.
you're in the beauty industry or as a cosmetologist, you're gonna learn by watching. That's why they have look
Hmm,
and learn classes. Of course,
hmm,
you go in and you try and implement what you've learned, but the state of the industry is stagnant. That's why you have
right,
everybody is like, what's next, what to do. Don't nobody know what to do, but the
right.
licensed cosmetologist. The licensed cosmetologist that's actually out there doing the work, they're now back steering the wheel, so to speak.
Right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? Look, you need to go over there and sit down, honey. Go on ahead and take you a class. You over there with the braids, yes, you need to go back to school. You need to actually enroll in school. And oh yeah, you that's over here trying to do makeup, yes, you need to go and
Oh
enroll
my God.
as an esthetician. Yes. So
Right,
you can
right.
learn the fundamentals of skin, you can learn the science and the anatomy as it pertains to the human body and the chemistry behind the chemicals. So
Right.
you know what these chemicals are going to do to the face. If the client need an acid treatment, if they need an
Hmm.
acid peel, do they need a moisturize? And when it comes to cosmetology is the highest tier. They tell you
Hmm.
that because
Right.
you cover the hair, nails, and the skin.
Hmm.
That's why the cosmetologist, it has so much power because she carries all three genres. Just that one
Right.
cosmetologist. That's why you have to be in school so long, right? And
Right.
and the same with barbering. It's not a specialty class like esthetician. All you are is an esthetician. You deal with facials, treatments, but you still have to refer them to a dermatologist, right? And you work
Hmm.
on the aesthetics part, which is the makeup, and then you have the nail tech. Whatever nail artistry or whatever beautification that comes with the nails, that's what your license allows you to do. Whereas a
Right.
cosmetologist, it covers your hair, your nails, and your skin. So we're able to pivot in various, I'm bored with hair, I can go over here with makeup. After I'm done with makeup, I can play around and do some manicures if I feel like
Right.
it. I could go over here and make some wigs, or I could go over here and I can now teach it, or I could go over
Uh-huh.
here and do some barbering, right? You
Right.
do the clippers, just whatever skill set you perfect. But as a cosmetologist, you're able to shift when the trend change. So if you're not licensed, that's why they fall off. It's like, okay,
Hmm.
if all you can do is a lace front, when the lace fronts fall off, then what? Because everybody wearing the same lace front. The lace front don't have no style. All it have is
Mm-mm.
little swoops in the front,
Oh my
and
God.
some color. It's not layered. You go and put the little wand curl in. What is that? You know what I
Right.
mean? It don't even move. Like
Right.
when the wind blow,
Woo!
it goes nowhere.
Them George
It's
Washington
just
wigs,
yeah,
helmets.
yes, it is just that, a helmet. So real hair, real hairstyles, they move, and that's what cosmetology school teaches you. It teaches
Right.
you that. It
Right.
it teaches you how to make the hair dance. And
Exactly.
when
Oh, I
you
love that.
apply, yeah, when you apply that information, it applies to all textures. It's not just black people, white
Right.
people, green people, orange people. It's
Yes.
hair.
Hair.
It's hair. They don't tell you when they're doing the body, they're not saying this is a black person. They're doing anatomy. This is the
That's
eye.
right.
This is, we all have a set of eyes, right? But
Hmm.
it's a pair. They're not identical. No, your
Right.
two limbs, they're not the same. So if we actually embrace cosmetology, teaches you how to work on that person's individuality and enhance that person's individuality
Hmm.
based on the science.
Now,
Based on the science, because they give you the head shape, they give you the eye shape, they give you the face shape. They tell you if the person have a long nose. They tell you if the person have a square face.
that's right.
Just like they give you body shapes and how to properly dress certain body shapes, right?
Exactly.
You're
Right.
not gonna put on those Spanx and you got a fupa,
Right.
because it's gonna show, it's gonna enhance. So you will
Uh-huh.
wear more so a dress with a flare, you know what I'm
Right.
saying, to the bottom, to give your body more shape. So
Uh-huh.
it's so many elevations or levels to cosmetology. That's why when I see people stop at certain levels, I'm like, okay. They be like, oh yeah, I used to do hair. Oh yeah, girl, it don't take all that. I used to hear that when I was in beauty school. Oh
Hmm.
no, girl, it don't take all that. Child,
Yep.
you don't need all that. And those hairstylists right now today, it's like you look at them and they clientele, you be like, girl, bye. It took
They are
all
hot.
that.
Don, he be a hot mess.
Yes.
Let me tell you how I love and see, let me tell you something. I know we making an impact. Let me tell you how I know. Because like we was talking, it's a shift going on. Because when
Yeah.
we expose stuff, now you see people they ain't showing you how they apply that quick weed. They ain't showing you that because I'm like, baby, you're gonna lose some hair, right?
Right.
We calling them out now. And
Right.
now it's so crazy. It's not a war against natural hairstylists versus cosmetologists. It's not because Don is clearly natural. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's not a war against that. It is a war against the bad practice. And
Yeah.
so now we see people, so hairstylists. I seen a hairstylist said, I've been doing hair for 13 years. I'm like, is you licensed? That
Hmm.
lady not one time mentioned she was licensed. I said, now that's a red flag right there by itself. You understand what I
Yeah.
mean? And people like, oh, they like talking about their license. Yes, because it is a difference. It is a difference because as Don is explaining, we understand the science. When I'm talking to a client and I'm doing coaching and they got their list of questions that they have for me, I was explaining to you earlier, I'm just able to just run it. I'm like, oh, okay, that mean this because I have studied, I have been, and not just I went to school for it. You continue your education. That's another thing that they don't do. They watch YouTube or they watch something because we learn visually. They watch what somebody else do and say I can do it, and they do it. But what
Right.
we're explaining to you is you don't understand the science of things and how it's a ripple effect is the fact that because you don't understand the science of things, you're using chemicals, you're doing products that is damaging to the hair. And now we have this great gap of women that are experiencing CCCA, right? Which is traction alopecia. I watched today, I think they're in Miami, where they said, oh, I finally found a hair replacement place. I think they're in Miami, Heva or Heva or whatever, that specialize in black in ethnic hair replacement. I said, what? Hair clubs specialize in all hair. I'm like, what kind of foolishness? Like we just throw anything out there like that.
Right.
It's not anybody can get hair replacement. It's not anybody that can do the hair surgery. You have to have the proper donors to be able to transfer those donors in the back or wherever the donors are to the front of your hair. So now you got all these women like, you got like they're like, oh, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. You might not be a candidate for that. You have to be a donor. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Hispanic. Because when I worked for Hair Club, it was all types of people, men of age in their 60s and 70s, down to men in their 20s, women that are in their teenage girls, black, white, Spanish. So I thought that was just like, I'm like, it's just so much stuff that just goes out, and it bothers me. And so I'm saying this because I know we're making an effect, because now we got people trying to, flow and do what we're doing, and that's okay. But understand that the one thing I will say is that the reason why we stand so confident and we say what we say, because we know the business. We understand this business inside out. Dawn is iron and I am iron. We sharpen one another. Where areas I have never been, I can go and I can lean on her, and she could be like, oh no, A, B, C, and D. Right? So we are here to encourage natural hairstylists. We're here to encourage cosmetologists. Step up your game, because there are a lot of cosmetologists that don't even know how to do color. I have watched you on TV, on social media doing a haircut, and I'm saying, where's your guide at? No guide created, just cutting all over the place.
Right.
Then they do that famous thing. Girl, that thing drive me. I'm like, oh my God, if you leave that lady hair alone, listen, you done did a uniform in the front and a increased lay on the sides. I'm like, what is this? And the person don't know, because all they gotta do is do all that and they think that they got something. I'm like, your hair is not gonna last. And that is an important thing. When you say you're a master hairstylist, that means you know how to do color. I'm talking about dimensional color. You know how to do cuts. You understand how the cut is supposed to flow with the color. You understand
master the craft.
Hairstyle. You understand design. That's mastering. You're mastering. It's not about how long you've been in. You're not a master hairstylist if you know how to lay a lace front. But let me say this too, Dawn, because I know you brought that up. Child, please. I'm like, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. I want to say this. I've seen cosmetologists. Now, we got to, be responsible. I just seen today where they knew how to lay the lace front back. I said, this person, and the cut was everything. The measurements, they had to customize the person's system. They ordered the system. That person had no hair on top. But when they finished laying that lady hair, it was fabulous. They knew how to cut and everything. Because hair replacement, this is another thing. I'm going to say this. Cosmetology and hair replacement is two different beasts within its own, it's up under each other, but it's two different beasts. You don't cut lace systems or hair prostheses the way you would cut regular hair or weaves. You don't do it. That's number one. That's why we don't see a lot of people. That's why we see everybody with the mermaid curly hair. You know what I mean? The thing like you put a hat on. We see a lot of them with that, and the mustache in the front, because that's why they want it so long, because most of y'all gonna say don't cut it because it's too long, don't cut my hair.
The 3 layers, that's where the inches, that's where the layers came in, the 12, the 12, the 14, the 16,
right,
the 20, 22, 24,
right.
That's where those numbers came from, because they didn't know how to cut. So they would go in and they would tell you, you need to get you a 12, 14, 16, you bring that in, and then we put it in. I know how to lay the tracks in.
That's right.
We just flat iron it down, and then we do a little curl, then we take it up and then do a little snip, So a lot of those styles, that's what you do.
That's why.
And you send out the dough, but that's not cutting the hair.
That ain't cutting the hair. So this is for consumers. This is why you have that. Now I'm gonna say this. I remember when I went to Patty Shear Elliott's, Miss Patty, and Miss Pearl, two older ladies taught me how to sew in hair. Now one of them sewed too tight, but they showed me how to sew in hair. But one of the things I loved about Miss Pearl was that she showed me how to cut the hair where it's going to look natural. She said, you want people to wonder if there's extensions in your hair. Absolutely. And so she taught me that when I first got out, that by that second year, Dawn, that lady taught me. She said, this is how you cut it. to the client. She said, if you can't wrap that hair, it ain't sold in right. And so I had to master that, right? And that is what you want, whether it's hair extensions or whatnot. But the things that they got going on now, it's like, and it looks pretty. Not all of them look bad. But y'all with them George Washington lace front wigs, Don call them helmets. I can't stand them. I can't stand hair that it don't look natural. Hold on, let me see. Hold on. Keisha been going in. Y'all now you know this Keisha. Hold on. Keisha going in on somebody. Okay. You're right, Coach Lee. I went to Ulta one day. I had a product question, and when the stylist came over, she saw my hair and she instantly said, ma'am, we don't do braids here. And I said, ma'am, I had a question. I wasn't trying to get my hair done. And she went on and said, yeah, I'm sorry. The lady on Widow's black hair isn't here. I just assumed I got nice nasty with her and didn't even ask her. She saw my hair and assumed braids because I was black, but I had taken down my twist out. I had taken down my twist out. She probably thought I had taken my braids down. I was like, oh my gosh, Karen, I wouldn't let you do my hair if you paid me. Oh my God, this doggone Keisha. Don just dropped the mic. Yes. Who is this? Cal Shaver. Who is it? Is that your real hair? Yes, some of it is talking about other people hair with a wig on. Who is this? Cal Chevalier? 1872. I'm not wearing a wig, sir, ma'am, or whoever you are. But thank you. I'm not wearing a wig. I don't wear wigs. I don't hate people who wear wigs, and I don't think wigs look bad. I hate wigs that don't look natural. If you don't like what I am saying, you can scroll on. Okay. I am not in fear of you guys. I wear extensions when I want to. And if I want to wear my hair short, I'll wear that too. I wear whatever I want to wear, but know that it's going to look good. Thank you for your comments. All right, Keisha. Cosmetology teaches you to enhance the individual beauty by applying the science. Girl, you better preach. I bet the clip would go viral on Instagram and TikTok. Child, beautiful blessings. Hi, virtual creative. And Keisha, the lady who does black hair, my phone did a typo. Okay. Yeah, so they a lot of times, and we were talking about how it's segregation. A lot of times, the people are they only hire us a lot of times because we're black, and they like, and I don't want to deal with that hair. I don't, you know what I mean? They do that. So it is a segregation in that, but I hate that it's like that, like Don was explaining, because we will get so much education. And you see how you had that experience, Keisha, where you went in there and they're like, oh, we don't do braids immediately, because she was like, I can't, she don't want to touch your hair. That's still going on in 2025, right? And so what if they had the understanding, and they didn't, they wasn't, if it wasn't a stigma on black women hair, and we actually taught, and they were open-minded to learn about our hair, because I know white hairstylists, Spanish hairstylists that do black hair. It's all, let me tell you what they say, it's all green. All right, it's all green, you know, at the end of the day. So you have those, but then you have, because they have such a big negative thing about our hair, they don't want to touch. Oh no, they can't touch it, you know. And so it's a separation in that. And what happens is, I think that, and that's why I wanted to ask Don, and where did you learn cut and color? Where did you learn that at?
Where did I
Like, was
learn?
it Dudley or was it both?
I learned cutting in color in school, the fundamentals, and then I had, when I after I graduated, I had to take um classes, like specialty classes, that that broke down the color and its application. Like that, school teaches you so much,
The
I
theory.
understood the theory part, of course, because I
Hmm.
passed I passed state board,
Right.
right? And I did have a lot of color questions, and I did understand the theory of color, but when it came to executing color and the lifting, it took practice.
Mm.
It took practice. That's why I say you have to work on your mannequin
Right.
before you go in and you implement that particular theory on an actual client.
Hmm.
Like the bylaws. When the bylaws came out, it was like, what is that? But it's like it's like a marble in the hair,
Right.
like a marble swirl. So you have to be able to understand, first of all, that the base of the client, the lift the client, and then skillfully apply those colors to create the biolage effect, because that's going to
Right.
take skill. That skill is going to come within your application, right? Because
Exactly.
you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if
Hmm.
you can't apply that, practical, you're not going to make any money.
Right. Right.
Right? So, that's what I love about the beauty industry. And it's this, once you understand the formula, you can adjust the formula to any particular ethnic group.
Right.
Black, white, green,
Right.
purple, Martian. You know what I mean? Once you know the formula, you can adjust the formula to meet the needs of whatever what whomever you face. And that's what I love about the beauty industry. So that's
Yes.
how I can tell when I see certain people work. I don't want to be walking around and say, "Girl, your hair look a mess. Girl, why you
Mm-mm.
got that on?
Mm-mm.
Girl, what is that shit? Girl, don't you see your hair is matted in the back?" Like, nobody's gonna tell you. Like, why would your friends allow you to go out to brunch or walk around like looking like that? I understand that your hair may not be where you want it to be. Of course, we're
Right.
stylists, so we can create our looks, right? We don't have
Right.
to
Right.
necessarily go in and pay somebody to create our looks. We can create our own looks for ourselves. So I get that you're not able to execute on the level of a professional, but at some point your look should be realistic. That's
Exactly.
just self-care, self-grooming, self-worth. That's just saying, fuck, I'm valuable.
Right.
Like, I don't need you to see me. I see me, and this is me. That means I put some clothes on. That means I brush my teeth. That means
Right.
I look like um I belong.
Hmm.
So it's how we move about and carry ourselves. Now, I understand life can give us some blows until you just be like,
Yes.
"Oh,
Yes.
I'm just not feeling it today.
Hmm.
I don't feel like taking this bonnet off." Like the young lady that went out and walked her dog. She was like, "Look, I ain't got my bra on. I'm out here in my nightdress and my robe, and me and Pooch going for a walk." And she had her
Mm.
bonnet off, and she was unapologetic. She was like, "I'm going out in the street like this, and I'm walking my dog. I got time. It's gonna take too long for me to put on a dress or whatever." But we live in a world where
Child,
you can do
please.
that, right? I have to catch
Right.
myself sometime. I ran outside with just my top on. I felt like it was
Right.
I was
Now listen.
appropriate. It was at night, right? But I look up, it's 3 men outside.
Oh my God.
Right. At night. You
Yeah.
thinking what it's like, where the fuck that came from? Like, yeah, I lived out a peephole or something, you
They just
know?
popped up out of nowhere.
Girl.
They be like that.
So
They be like that. I mean, them ladies be like, oh, I can't. Oh, girl, that's some bad. That you look good, but child, I can't be doing that 5 days a week.
that's
What
you.
I think. Let me tell you what I think about, and it'd be so crazy. I'd be taking it back. I think about back when um slavery. You think about those times where they tell them hurry up and have a baby and get back in the field. You understand what I'm saying? They
What?
tell them that. It's like you got to get back in the field. They ain't had a time to beautify themselves, right? but they have gone through so much for you to be able to walk into any place you want to, right? And be able to hold on. Okay, that's Keisha. You could go to any place you want to, and because of what your ancestors went through. I always say that. I say this to my clients. So to get up every day, and one of my clients said this to me today. She said, she said, I fix myself up, when it's a special event, you know. But she
Mm-hmm.
said, I don't want to just fix myself up for a special event. I want to look good every day. I don't have to be all dramatic with it, but I just want to feel and look good every day. I don't think that now she's discovering herself. I don't think that I should just look good because I'm going to somebody's wedding or
Right.
I'm going to the club or whatever the case may be. I think I should look good every day. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Every day we should strive to look good. Every
Right.
day. Your
Right.
look good, the way you feel. And when I mean by that is like it comes across like we're judging, and in a sense we are, because like John said, we all go through some battles, but everybody handle it different. I told you when I go to work, everybody wore jeans and a t-shirt. And one day a Indian lady came to me and she said, you always dress so nice, but we all wear jeans and t-shirt. Why you do that? I said, because I had a battle today. I came through some stuff from my household, and I was determined to make it to work. And if I had to work, I had to feel good to be able to do the job I needed to do. And in
Right.
order for me to do the job I need to do to feel good, I need to feel good about myself. So it took me an hour to put this makeup on today because I went through some things.
Right.
So everybody handled things differently. For me, I understand the power in taking care of myself. When nobody else gonna take care of me, I'm gonna be able to take care of myself. As long as God, because there are people that are in wheelchairs, there are people that can't use their hands, there are people that can't get out of bed. But as long as God give me the will and the means to be able to have the product, to be able to wear the clothes or whatever, I'm going to do it because there is somebody else that is watching how I get through that may know the struggle or the battle that I'm going through. And they say, that girl, you wouldn't even know she went through that.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because you got to keep going, but you can't lose yourself in the midst of whatever it is. And so to me, like you said, I mean, I don't went out to get my mail and I'm like, I still got, my hair still wrapped or something like that. And I look up and the neighbors looking like, oh Lord. But then when I come out, I'm gonna be okay. And I get it. And it's okay. You have those days. Some days, one day I had on some slides the other day. Them slides was, I said, my foot was dirty in the back. I said, oh my God, I'm a foot dragger today. You know what I mean? I said, where the shoes come from? Like, it was one of them days I didn't feel like it, y'all. I had on my long dress. I just slide the slides on. I was tired. I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I was tired. I just was like, I just want some slides. I ain't even pay attention to the slides. Y'all, the inside the slide was so dirty. When I got home, I looked at my feet. I said, I know you lying. Thank God the dress was so long, you couldn't see it. I said, I was a foot dragger today because the back, that back part. I said, now how the back of your foot get dirty? No, ma'am.
That is funny.
You know what I'm saying? So you had them days, but hey, it is what it is. Let me see. Okay, hold on, y'all. We talked about that. Keisha. Who is that? Okay. The lady who does black hair, my phone did a type. Okay. I went to a white salon here and the store manager was booked. She knew how to do it, but she told me I had to come back or the new girl could do it. The young white girl was nervous, but I told her I will walk you through it. This is what I'm talking about. I will walk you through it because I was getting a blowout. She did everything I told her. I had to calm her down and I encouraged her and thanked her. She felt accomplished after we were done. She did well. Good. That was really kind of you. I told her if she could do my hair, she can do any type of hair. She fresh out of hair school, but she did a good job. That's what I'm talking about. Sorry,
Yeah.
my phone. Okay. What Don? You out here flashing folks for free, 99? Keisha say, yes, Coach Lee and Don, it's about having pride in yourself. I made myself dress up for church. Thought I did. I thought I did. Didn't feel like getting dolled up, but I forced myself because I didn't feel like it. Yeah. And I felt great when I got back to the house. Though I physically didn't feel that great. You better preach, Lee. Yes, child. You got to do what you got to do. Oh my God, Coach Lee, foot dragon. Yes, honey, I was a foot dragon, honey. That was 2 weeks ago. I'm telling you. I listen. I didn't even put them shoes back in the closet. I threw them shoes to the guard. I said, "Let me take them back." And the old folks had a saying, "Never trust the women who drag up." No, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
You need to cut it out.
Foot dragging means she be dragging her feet. I don't know what it was that day, y'all. I was dog tired. And I was like, I don't even know where these shoes came from. I'm like, whose shoes is this? The shoes was too big, Don. I don't know. I don't know whose shoes it was. All I know, y'all, I had to throw the shoes out. So I done had my days.
Showed up.
I showed up, boy. I showed up. I was tired that whole day, but I was proud of myself. I said, you made it through. So, it is what it is at the end of the day. But these are things, it's just shop talk. We just talking. And my sister be dragging her feet. Sometimes I'd be like, hell nah, girl. But I was gonna say that these talks that we have, Don and I push or whatnot, we push them because it's like we always say, it's not to tear down, it's to actually build up our community. But we got to call things out. Ain't nobody gonna be faking the funk and lying to you. It's like if somebody come in the salon, and I've seen hairstylists like this, and no, you can't do the person hair, and you jump because you need the money. Yeah, I can figure it out. And then you go and call me to the back. You'll call somebody to the back to ask you how to formulate the color. So if you don't know how to formulate the color, that means you don't even know how to apply the color.
Right.
You don't understand that the root, maybe you have to do the root with this, but you're gonna have to first do the ends with a demi, and then go ahead and go in with the permanent, you know what I'm saying, from the root down, so they can meet each. You don't even know how to do that. Why did you take on this project? It's an easy project, but you don't even know how to do that. So when we're talking, it's talking to correct you and to make you understand. We know the ins and outs of the salons. When we talk about the wigs, we're not talking about is something wrong with wearing wigs. There's nothing wrong with wearing wigs. Make the wig look natural. And if everybody look the same, find your fit. You don't want to look like everybody. Everybody got the same lace, 22-inch to 30-inch wigs and swoops in the front. Find something different. They may wand the hair and the hair look pretty, but y'all all look the same. Find your own look. All right, Don, do you have anything else to say as we close?
Protect the crown. Protect the crown and embrace your individuality. And stay out the club.
Stay out the club.
Be you, because everybody else is taken. That's right, Miss Keisha.
I like that, be you, because I like that. That's what's up. Yeah, stay original. Like, and embrace your ancestors. Embrace your beauty. You know what I mean? Embrace your natural beauty. And if you're struggling with that, if you need some help or whatever, we definitely do our one-on-one coaching. That is really taking off. I got a few slots for the rest of this year. So if you're interested in that, let us know. Beautypioneers is offering one-on-one coaching where you can do your thing behind closed doors and get what you need. But as for that, we are all done. I'm going to the Don. I'm going to the club to find a baby daddy, Don. You know who that is. That's Keisha. You going to find a baby daddy? Oh my gosh. You can't make this stuff up. So guys, we will see you. The links are in the description. Please remember, if you are new, to join to join Beautypioneers. We are almost at our goals where we can be able to go live on Beautypioneers. Okay. Good night to you, Keisha. We love you all. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week, 7
Good
p.m.
night.
All right. Smooches. Salon talk. Bye.